Artie.
Artie.
Amazon.
So I talked to him and I said, I heard Artie's getting back. He goes, yeah, I
Tell here today. You were at Ronnie's birthday party, just recent,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Ronnie,
Tell us a little bit
Ronnie.
about that. Well, I'll show some
Ronnie's
pictures.
wife. I got an email or a text actually. Group text. There it is. Yes, I got a group text from Ronnie's wife, Stephanie. And it was me, Sal, and a bunch of Ronnie's friends.
Oh, Brian Phelan is here, and I'm here. Lance is here. Lance is a super fan. He joins me all the time. I've been doing
Hi,
the
Lance. Nice to meet you.
So, but I told folks yesterday I'd have someone from the Stern Show to come in here and just bullshit with me, and we talk sports, we talk music. Brian and I keep in touch.
Yeah.
You love the Black Crows. I love the Black Crows.
Love
You
them.
saw them just recently. I skipped out on seeing
Bad
the
move.
Black Crows, and you got on me. I should have been there. Huh?
Should have.
I
It
didn't
was a
like the
great
set
show.
list. I got to be honest. I didn't like the set
You
list.
know what? It's all right. So in reading the book, that we talked about back in the day, they used to make up a different set list every night. I saw them 4 nights in Manhattan back in the day in a row. They did 80 different songs. It was beautiful. But that doesn't sell tickets to the common fan. The hardcore fan, yes. The common fan, no. So they got to do their hits now, which is fine. But they'll throw in a couple obscure songs here and there too, and the new album, which is not bad. I liked it, So they got to do what they got to do now, and it's fine. I know I was looking at the set list here and there, and I'm like, oh, I hope they play this and I hope they play that. But my set list from the last week was pretty damn good. I went on Halloween with my son. We had a blast. It was so much fun. German guy sitting next to me sang every word to every song, just like me. I was like, wow. And then at the end of the night, he's like, I'm German. And I'm like, hey, all right, nice to meet you. But it was fun.
I'm German. Hello.
He was all excited to tell me he was German. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, they were playing right down the street from me, and I was pissed because I've never been to this new venue, and I'm like, it's a smaller venue. They were supposed to open for Aerosmith, who was supposed to be here in October. That all went to shit. So anyway.
Yeah, I saw. Actually, I caught the last Aerosmith show ever.
You bastard.
Yeah, UBS, Queens, or actually Elmont. It's New York. It's borderline of Queens and Long Island. Yeah, it was a great show. I mean, he was unbelievable. But I didn't realize it. There was nothing that said he hurt himself until I read about it the next day. I was like, wow, all right. The last song they sung, Happy Birthday to Joe Perry.
I've seen that on YouTube. Right here on YouTube. Welcome to YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube.
We've got many people coming in saying hello. Are you twins? Richard asked. No, we're not twins, but that.
No,
I'm offended, not offended. I don't know.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck everybody.
We were talking, so people might not know what you're up to if they've not come to this channel before and seen that you were with the Stern Show. Wouldn't you? How many years were you with the Stern Show? With In Demand E?
I was with E for 8 years, and then they had offsetting contracts between TV and radio. So for 6 months in 2005, I had to find work until he went to Sirius. So I worked at a couple of spots. I did the UN. I did the General Assembly, which is where all the presidents meet. And I got a great story about that. So I was recording press conferences, and making dubs and stuff. And you literally had to show an ID, a credential at 3rd Avenue and every block all the way to get to where I was working, because there's like 150 presidents, and the Secret Service comes in and they're like, hey, we need, they had a luncheon and a photo op. And they're like, hey, we need 20 copies of the photo op from yesterday. So I'm like, all right. I'm dubbing him off, and I say to the Secret Service, I'm like, what's up? He goes, some guy just snuck in and took a picture with every president. And I'm like, I can't get across 3rd Avenue. And some guy's like with every president in the world. So it was entertaining.
Howard loved you, man. I mean, he really, I remember your last day at E, you came in and he was really sad for you. You guys stuck up a pretty good friendship. It seems. I'm sure you don't talk to him now, or do you? I don't even know.
He sends me a card at Christmas and on my birthday, an email here and there. We don't really talk much. We're not like friends or anything. It's just we were, he was my boss and I was his, worker, and yeah. I mean, he still keeps in touch that way. But yeah, I mean, if I saw him on the street, he wouldn't, blow me off like some people that we used to work with. But I'm sure, maybe one day I'll see him again. But who knows?
Who's he blowing off? Give us a name.
Jesus. Who is it going off?
You're active on Twitter, so I'm sure folks can see that. We'll do a little show and tell here today. You were at Ronnie's birthday party, just recent, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Ronnie.
give us, tell us a little bit
Ronnie.
about that. Well, I'll show
Sure,
some
Ronnie's
pictures.
wife. I got an email or a text, actually. Group text. There it is. Yes. I got a group text from Ronnie's wife, Stephanie. And it was me, Sal, and a bunch of Ronnie's friends and a lot of security guys that he worked with. Joe the cop, Mike, Pat. He had a good friend, Cadillac Sean, who owns a Cadillac dealership out here on Long Island. He was there. Some of his neighbors. There was about 30 of us, and he was surprised. He had no clue. He walked into a surprise. It was great. He had a great time, and it was just good to see him. He had a nice little speech about us being there, and then Sal roasted him for about 5 minutes, which was very funny. Uh, Sal's the best, man. He picked up. It was like towards the end of the night, so he picked up one of those things a tin that you put your food in to go home with, and he's like, "Here, I got Ronnie's urn." He's the man, Sal. I love that guy.
Sal was a great roaster. I mean,
Yeah.
he was always very quick. I think maybe didn't know where boundaries were set or should have been set sometimes. Um,
Well, a roast there, I mean, a roast is a roast, and there really shouldn't be any boundaries, even though there are. And nowadays, you can't say anything now that won't offend
I mean,
somebody.
he did a
So
horse noise for Beth in front of Howard. It was pretty damn great.
he did it in front of Beth too, and she hung up on him. That was a classic. That's what got him disinvited to the wedding. By the way, that was.
That's funny. I forgot about that. That's right.
And the funniest thing was, Howard said, "Sal, go ahead, do it," and Sal did it, and she just hung right up. That was a classic moment.
Sal was about a second from being on this show. Just a couple months ago, I had Billy Mira on,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, and Sal was going over to practice the Billy. What do they call themselves? A hitman, or
The
fabulous?
Hitman, the hilarious Hitman. I actually shot that show. My son actually shot it. He's looking to follow in my footsteps. So I set him up at this venue, which a couple minutes away from my house, and it was a great night. He does like comedy and he sings, and Richard plays the drums. It's all singing. It's all him and Billy going back and forth, and then Billy does all his impressions. So if they're coming to your town, check it out. The Hilarious Hitman. It's a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to hang out that night, and um, him and John Hine actually came to uh, City Field. There was a charity event for the cops versus the firemen baseball game. So they were there for that. They came up to the control room and said hello to me and hung out, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I run into guys here and there at work. So, back to the question. I worked at E for 8 years. I worked at Sirius for 8 years, and then I've been gone for 10 years. And since then, I've been doing here and there freelance. But I'm basically the TD at the Yankees, and I do what's called video at the Mets. So I do baseball all year round. For the whole not all year round, but for the whole season. So if I have like 3 days off a month between April and October, that's a lot. But that lets me float for the winter where I don't have to work as much and I can just sit back and chill. And now I'm chilling because the Yankees, of course, lost the World Series, even though I was there, and we got one game in us, but it was very sad.
Yeah, I mean, are you a Yankee fan, a Met fan,
I'm a
or
fan whoever pays me. But
Wait a minute.
growing up, I was pretty much a Met fan because I was from Long Island. I got the Met job before I got the Yankee job, but it was like once in a while, and then I got the full-time Yankee job before I got the full-time Met job. So, listen, I take it or leave it. I just want to see a good game either way. I don't care. I'm not really a big sports fan where I'm just like, oh, this is my team and fuck everybody else and blah blah blah. I'm not gonna run down the street and start fucking punching out other guys from other teams from wearing their jersey. Like, I'm not gonna come over and punch in the face for wearing that fucking jersey. But I did live in Arizona and I do like the Diamondbacks too. But
Got Buck Showalter autograph on this.
wow, look at that. Wow.
Uncle Bob and Callie and
Yeah. What's that worth? $13?
nothing. Yeah, nothing. First manager of the Diamondbacks, Buck Showalter.
Wow. That's right. You're right. Yeah. Nice.
No, I come on here and I talk baseball and music and shit, and I really did not want the Dodgers to win. I think it's a bad look for baseball. I feel like
Yeah,
we're gonna be in this pattern of just the haves and the have-nots. They've been there's a lot of parity of late, but it has been the Astros, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. It's now the Yankees.
right.
And
Yeah,
I'm
and
not. I don't
if the
care as a
Mets would have
Cardinal
won,
fan, but it just it feels bad.
yeah, if the Mets would have won, I would have been at every game, would have been sick. I would have been at every World Series game, and I would have saw somebody win that I wanted to see win, but I didn't. Uh,
It's all about the money. That would have been 7 days of money.
7 days of pay is right, brother. And a little extra overtime because of the rehearsals and the setup. So go Cubs! Look at this guy. That's funny.
I know. Shitty field. I like that. Uh,
Yeah, City Field is actually nicer than Yankee Stadium. I think it's a nicer ballpark. You get a real flavor of the game. I don't know. To me, Yankee Stadium is like a museum where they play baseball. So
I haven't been to either. I went to obviously the two before that, Shea and then Yankee, original Yankee.
yeah,
I just love dumps. So Shea Stadium was everything I
yeah,
wanted it to be. It smelled. There was piss on the floor. It
yeah.
was perfect.
If you want to see a good documentary, it's both a music and a sports documentary. It's
Billy
Billy
Joel.
Joel's Last Play at Shea. You see
Yeah.
it? You
Oh
saw it?
yeah. Yeah.
My favorite line is "Strawberry." Yeah, it's a dump, but it's our dump. Classic
Right.
line.
Daryl lives 20 minutes away. By the way, it's the
No kid.
craziest. You could see him getting gas right
Oh,
down the
that's
street.
awesome. Yeah, I saw him. He of course got his number retired this year. Him and Doc. So I saw them, and they also were both. They pitched one. They threw out one of the first pitches at one of the playoff games this year too.
Yeah.
So I see
I
them a lot.
shouldn't I shouldn't like those guys because that was like my team was the Cardinals in the '80s, but we had a great rivalry. But I love the '86 Mets. I read the book. I
Yeah.
love just how nuts they were. Like as a kid, I knew they were messed up, and I like
No,
my
right.
cultures are Mets.
No, of course, man. It was back in the '80s. Anything get went. Everything
Yeah.
was free. It was free to do whatever you wanted, as long as you
Lance
were
is
winning.
Lance is a fan here. In touch with Scott DePace at all, or any of the others from the In Demand Eats?
No, not the pace. I talked to Doug. Doug was actually at a couple of Mets games this year. In fact, he brought his son. His son actually, Judd, is a 16-year-old kid. He tried out he auditioned for an Adam Sandler movie and got it.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw. There's a movie on Netflix about something about his daughter's bar mitzvah, and Doug's kid is like the friend of the main kid. The main kid, the boyfriend, it's his friend. So he's in that movie, and he came to City Field, and I gave him the tour, of course, and he's hanging out in the control room, and I put him up on the jumbotron and sent him pictures and everything like that, and then he had just left, and where he was sitting was where we put up the apple when there's a home run. So Judd just left, and he was waiting to hit the apple, and when he left, that's when they hit the home run. So he missed out, but he's a good kid. I talked to Ganji.
No
Uh,
freaking way, Ganji.
yeah, exactly. Ganji's doing good. He's producing this show on Fubu, I think it's called, the TV.
Still okay. The
Yeah,
last time I
he's
talked
doing
to him,
that.
he was on here. He said the same thing, so that's great.
Yeah, so he's still doing that. He actually moved out to Long Island. He got married, has a kid, lives out on Long Island. He grew up. He
He's
grew up.
grown up around the
He
edges.
grew up exactly.
Seen, yeah. So
He was supposed to go to the Ronnie's wedding, and of course he couldn't because he couldn't get a babysitter. And he used to laugh at me about that back in the day when I couldn't go out because I didn't have a babysitter. But what comes around goes around.
I used to do that to all my friends, man. When I'm like, well, your wife won't let you. What's this let you shit? Now I
Yeah.
know.
No, listen, you gotta choose your battles to fucking fight. So it's gotta be what it's gotta be. Who else? I see Shuli every once in a while. He'll come to town. He came to town last like about 6-7 months ago. Did a show at Governor's by me. I shot that for him. Him and Bob Levy and Mike Morse. Really good show.
Let's
He'll
talk
talk
about the
to you.
Dabbleverse for a second. What's going on? He's on
You know
a
what? It's funny you
heater.
say that. I don't know exactly what it is. Somebody keeps tweeting me, "Hey, you got to go on the Dabbleburst or whatever it's called." I don't fucking know.
I didn't know either till
I'm
these people here.
I'm out of the loop. I'm old now, man. I'm 55. I don't fucking know any new music. I don't know anything new. I went today. I got scammed. I went to BJ's. I had a gift card for $30, and it's like if you join BJ's, you get another 20. So I went there with a $55 gift card, thinking I had a $55 gift card, and I didn't. It was a scam. It was like I had to be a new member, but I'm already a member, and I'm like fighting with the woman. Like, no, it says I have $55, and I'm fucking clueless. I can't work my fucking phone. I'm whatever. It's over, Johnny. It's
Yeah,
over.
no, I do this. I'm always like, I bought that propane tank. I'm getting that propane. You know, I'm always arguing with customer service.
I don't know, man. Everything's a fucking scam nowadays. You can't fucking go anywhere without getting ripped off somehow. So I just kind of stay out of everything. But yeah, somebody like I said, somebody's like the dabble burst or whatever it's fucking called. I'm like, I don't know anything. I know he has an issue. Him and John are fighting back and forth.
Fighting
I
back
went on the
and forth.
show. Yeah, I went on the show a couple of years ago about John did a show, and we have mutual friends, John and I, and he sent somebody to John's show, to Shuli's show, to tell him stop talking about John's kids. But Shuli never talks about John's kids, so. And I just gave Shuli the heads up, and then John called him out on it, saying, "Oh, that's bullshit. That didn't happen." And then, I'm like, "It did happen. I saw it. I was totally in. I knew about it. I gave him the heads up." But now, yeah, John don't talk to me. Well, not that John even talked to me. John left, and he never talked to me. Ever since he left. So I wasn't in like when E first started. I wasn't there. So I wasn't in with the original E crew that was in with the Stern show. So there was like when I got there, like my good friend was Grillo and Ganji, and then Ronnie. Those were my three guys that were from the show that I was tight with. And then Grillo left, Ganji was still there, Ronnie was still there. And then Shuli and Sal and those guys came on, and I became friends with them and Richard. So like then that was our, that was who I was tight with. And then, of course, JD and Benji. Benji's a good guy, but you never know, like he's always his head is spinning all the time, and you don't know what's real and what's he's fucking around and what's. So I mean, I love him and everything like that, but you can only be so friendly with him because you don't know where he's going with anything. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, my guys were Shuli, Ronnie, Grillo, who else? That's pretty much it. Ganji, Doug, so that's my crew. Sal and Richard, right. That's who I talk. Oh, and Tracy Millman. I love her. She's the
She was
best.
awesome. She was on this before. I'm just curious if these guys ever tell you, and I don't know if you would say it here, but what do they feel of the show these days? Like what or is
What
it
of who feels the show?
like
The guys on the
Sal?
show?
Yeah,
I,
Sal going and
you
having
know,
a
you know
word.
what? It's funny. I don't really talk that much about the show when I hang out with them. We just talk about what's going on. Yeah, everybody knows the show has changed, and like he had, Kamala Harris and fucking Biden on, and wasn't there a thing where it was like equal time for every fucking
Out the
person?
window.
So like there was no equal time for Trump. He didn't get on there. Not that I'm a Trump fan or a supporter. I could give a shit about politics either way. They're all full of shit. I think the country runs itself, and they're just like little figureheads that they put in place for the people that really run the fucking world behind them. But they're all full of shit. They all say this one thing, and then nothing happens that they say. Everything changes and blah, blah, blah. It's all fucking bullshit to me. So, I was happy Trump won because, you know, I don't know. All the shit, like, it's so funny, man. Like, since 2020, the crap that went on, like on the internet, like, all the shit, all the fucking theories out there, you don't know what to believe anymore, So it's like, really, does fucking Michelle Obama really have a dick? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
I didn't see that
Uh,
one.
yeah, it's funny. It's like Michelle's got a dick all over the place, and I'm like, wow, that's funny. But like, you have the one side bashing Trump, the other side bashing Harris. Harris was like hanging out, like wasn't she like a prostitute for fucking Montel Williams back in the day or some shit like that? And all the Diddy parties and all the people all these guys that went to Diddy parties now, and found out what's going on with that. They're all, I don't know, man. Who the fuck who do you trust? Who do you trust?
Well, as I try to say to people that ask me, because I don't care, nothing they
Right.
do is really seemingly going to affect my life. I don't think. Now,
I don't
maybe
think so either. I have a job. I get paid from it. I don't think, you're
could be
right.
could be wrong. I don't, but
Yeah.
I've lived long enough, and nothing has really affected me. You know, from
Right.
something that president. Who knows? Maybe we become part of Russia this time around. I don't know, but
Listen, maybe I'll make more money. Who knows?
yeah, if it makes me more money, let's just get me into Russia.
Right. Right. I
Um,
just want to pay my mortgage.
we are live. I want to go reset with Brian Phelan, former camera
Yeah.
guy for the Howard Stern Show, and we're doing this live. But you can watch this later as I put these back out. So thanks to Brian. Also check out the description. There's all kinds of fun stuff, and do some super chats if you like what you see. Say thanks, Brad. But we're looking at the comments. I don't see anything. People are just having fun.
Thanks, Brad.
Um, yeah, let's see here. The Pace versus Jason. Tell me how fun that was to see those two go at each other.
Um,
It's your boss, I guess, so you kind of have to take his
yeah,
side.
listen,
But it
it,
had. We were talking politics. This is a good segue. Those two
right.
had a.
They didn't like each other, So, like I remember one story where Jason, we were in Vegas and Gary told Jason to take over the meeting, and he did. That's what he was told to do, and he did. And everybody got offended by it. It's like, listen, Gary told him to take it over. Why is everybody freaking out? I mean, Jason was young and he was, he was there not as long as the other guys, but some other people were like, I think I should be running this meeting, But it was always radio first and TV second. So, uh, you know, that's the radio side always took the lead. We just covered whatever radio did, and then we also did our own content and stuff like that. But them fighting all the time, who didn't fucking fight on that show? Everybody fought on that show. So, if you stayed in the studio long enough, you were gonna get beat up on.
Was it
I knew that. I learned that early.
was it
So
uncomfortable for you because you had to kind of be in the middle and actually record it and have to be part of
no,
it?
not at all. I'd laugh my ass off. I thought it was
Entertaining.
fucking funny. I'd listen. Excuse me. You woke up every day, you turned that show on, you laughed, right? I got up every morning, went into that show, and laughed my ass off just like you did, man. It was. I was a big fan before I got the gig. I got the gig, and I loved it. I loved every minute of being there. It was so much fun, And listen, I understand why shit happens and shit goes away. What are you gonna do, But I'm not gonna bash the show because what's the bash? It was the greatest time of my life. Yeah, I'm pissed I'm not there anymore, but you got to move on. They didn't want to do TV anymore, and you do what you got to do. I bounced back. I didn't have an issue. I found a job right away. There was guys that didn't find jobs for years after that. I know the Pace couldn't find another directing job anywhere. Ganji didn't work for like 4 or 5 years after that, but that's a whole other story. But I mean, I was able to find work and stay in the business and do what I had to do. Other people moved away, some people are working here and there and everywhere. Every once in a while, I'll run into somebody will text me. I'm at the game, and I'll throw them up on the Jumbotron. And it's, when I see people, I see people. Who's that? Yeah, John and Gary at the game. They went to the game a lot. They were at a lot of play. I think they were at almost every playoff game. So, it was funny. So Gary's texted me and he's like, "Oh, can you put me up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll put you up."